And now to today's Woke Watch. There are two analogies we use whenever we want to prove something is beyond doubt. Does a bear defecate in the woods? And is the Pope a Catholic? Well, from now on, we only have the bear's outdoor ablutions as a measure of veracity because after the Pope's visit to Canada last week, his Catholic credentials, or what remained of them, are almost non-existent. The Pope was there to apologise for the Catholic Church's role in, according to the BBC, quote, the oppression, mistreatment and cultural genocide of Indigenous people in Canada, unquote. The most famous of these was at a boarding school for Indigenous kids in Kamloops in British Columbia. You'll recall that last year an archaeologist called Sarah Bolio used ground-penetrating radar to supposedly find the bodies of up to 215 children at the school. But her claims came with a caveat. She said, quote, "We can never say definitely they are human remains. We have to say they are probable until one excavates," unquote. Well, this was all the world's media needed as further evidence of the Catholic Church's sinister history of raping and killing kids in colonial outposts. The graves were widely reported as irrefutable fact. This footage, shot at the school in the 1960s, reveals the place to be slightly happier than the religious hellhole imagined by journalists in far-flung newsrooms. But the Pope fell for the media narrative hook, line and sinker. He said, quote, "I humbly beg forgiveness for the evil committed by so many Christians against the Indigenous people." Now, papal apologies are relatively new. They only began under Pope John Pawle in 2000. But the current Pope has markedly increased the apologies, which somehow only ever fit the woke narrative. And there is nothing the woke establishment loves more than someone begging for forgiveness. Predictably, this latest apology had the usual response. As the Washington Post reported, quote, "The Canadian government made clear that Pope Francis's apology to Indigenous peoples for abuses in the country's church-run residential schools didn't go far enough," unquote. Of course it didn't. The Pope should have learned by now that to the woke, an apology is never good enough. In most cases, it simply opens the door to reparations and compensations for crimes that can seldom be proved but can easily be exaggerated.